Massachusetts has a new Secretary of Education. Matthew Malone replaces longtime Secretary Paul Reville, who stepped down in January after serving for more than 4 years. And Matt Malone is here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So you and Rich Davey are really out there on the tour here. There's a lot at stake here because you want the governor's tax proposal to go through.
We're trying to see who can put more miles on the car, he or I. You know, he's doing a great job talking about transportation, and I'm talking about education. But at the end of the day, we're both talking about the same thing. It's really about closing gaps and increasing opportunity. I think that the governor's package around an investment in both transportation and education will help us build our infrastructure and grow our innovation economy. It's very exciting, and you know, I've been all over this state, and I know Secretary Davey has as well, but I have been to Florida and Peru, Massachusetts in the last 10 weeks.
Have you really?
I have.
So, I mean, I think everybody understands investment in infrastructure when it comes to transportation. Not so much education, which feels, frankly, sometimes like a rat hole. It's just more and more and more and more. It's like, where does it go? For what?
All right.
Who's it going to help?
Great question. You know, you can see the roads and bridges that are falling apart. Exactly. And we need to invest in them and fill the potholes that you and I drive through. In education, you can't see what the investment gets you immediately. But here's, for me, what's exciting. This is about investment in early childhood education, which we have underinvested over the last 40 years, since the 60s, when the report came out in 67 about the value of an early childhood education across the lifespan of a young learner, that we know that every dollar we invest in early childhood could win us back $7 to $10 down the road by reducing recidivism rates, dropout rates, etc. So I think that an investment in early childhood, investment in affordability, investment in K-12 learning to extend the learning time of the day, these are research-based best practices.
Okay. So these, when you say early childhood education, for example, so then, I mean, there are already public schools. There was already, you're talking about nursery schools that kids can send their kids to for free. How does this work?
Great question. So we have right now in Massachusetts about 35,000 kids that don't have access to any high-quality early childhood care whatsoever. The governor's proposal is about building literacy to get at reading proficiency rates by the end of third grade, by high-quality early childhood education from zero, from birth up through age 5. The coupled component with that is by investing in what we call K-1, so it's full day for 4-year-olds with our public schools, will allow us to have a hybrid model, both public, private, center-based and centers, home-based, based on high quality, around rigorous standards, that we're going to get at proficiency rates in literacy and numeracy much more expeditiously than we have by doing what we've currently done the last 40 years.
So the costs are also for teaching other staff, because they've got to work a longer day. If you're keeping K-1 kids there all day long, that's a long day.
There's cost for professional development. There's cost in program accountability. There's cost in additional training. There's cost in actually personnel to build the workforce that we need to have, a high-quality workforce for our young people. I think that this investment will allow us to continue to close those proficiency gaps, to put more kids into college. Look, we can fix the economy by continuing to put out great folks at the higher ed level, but we're not going to have that cadre of great folks unless we address the core issue. The core issue is we have a large percentage of our population coming from foreign countries right now. We gotta help break that cycle of folks coming to this country, not being able to graduate and achieve through the higher ed system. And we think that this investment, this plan, will allow us to do that.
And then, where does that lead you? Because, you know, around here, college grads will tell you there aren't any jobs around here anyway. So where's this going to take you?
Great question. So we've been very strategic in looking at what we call the sector-based workforce development. Our community colleges tied with our vocational high schools, tied with our high schools and our four-year colleges and universities, to create this pathway to success of stackable credentials, an academic and skill-based model, so that we're actually graduating folks with the skills and abilities to be able to compete in the global economy, in the Massachusetts economy of the 21st century. 250,000 folks out of work in Massachusetts, but 150,000 jobs that are open right now, but the skills match isn't there. We're being very strategic. Manufacturing, healthcare, human services, STEM fields. This is the future of our economy, an innovation economy.
When you go to places like Peru and Florida, are they on board for this? Because this is a taxpayer-funded deal. It's like the governor is looking for $1.9 billion additional additional funds, as we just say, for transportation and education. Are people on board with it?
Look, we're out there talking to folks, the good people of this Commonwealth, about the value of a free public education, about, we're the home of Horace Mann. We started public education for our country. When you think about this investment, people are on board because they understand that early childhood, there's a need. K-12, we're doing great, but we can do better. They know that higher ed around affordability and this idea of this aligned, stackable credentials around workforce development. People get that. They understand that this investment will allow us to do that, continue to grow this economy. We've had great conversations across this entire Commonwealth. Yes, of course, some folks are against any sort of investment in a free public education, but that's the price of a democracy. And I'm saying let's invest right now. Let's do this.
So what do you do all day? I mean, other than
me personally, what do I do?
I'm serious about that. The Secretary of Higher Education. Education. Excuse me. What does it entail?
Okay, so great. So I started my day by visiting schools in both South Boston. I visited Up Academy, and then this great charter school I saw over in Chelsea called Phoenix Academy. It's about engaging folks who have dropped out. I spend time learning about best practices and then talking across a large spectrum of people about how can we replicate them across the rest of the Commonwealth. And then it's really about aligning the governor's vision around education from 0 up through 22. Under my umbrella, I have Mass Maritime and UMass Medical School, plus the College of the Arts and all the high schools and K-12 community, plus all the early childhood. It's an undertaking that's very exciting. And when we think about how do we really get at the American dream, and it's through a free public education from birth up through adulthood. And I'm really excited about that.
Now, do you take a look at these fee and tuition structures? I mean, I was looking at UMass alone is up 36% over 5 years. I mean, these are huge increases for people.
Great. So then the governor's proposal, he's put forward something called the 50-50 proposition, and that's funding the operating costs about 50% through taxpayers' dollars at UMass. If we can get to there, which the governor's proposal does, UMass will freeze its fees for the next few years. Now, we know that with the costs over time continue to grow, but that will help working parents, working students be able to afford and attend our higher ed system in Massachusetts.
So what about that mess over at Roxbury Community College? You get involved in that at all?
Roxbury Community College is on the rebound. They've addressed the issues that were brought forward in that report. I think we're going to see some amazing work coming out of Roxbury Community College on the horizon. This idea of
who's going to run it?
Well, right now they're doing a president search. I don't know who the finalists are yet. They'll be announcing that over the next few weeks, and then I'm looking forward to. They got a great board in place that's really focused on this. It's a new board. They're taking this very seriously, and they're addressing the issue in the report.
Because there was reports of embezzlement, at least at the Reggie Lewis Track Center there. I mean, how does it get to that point? Shouldn't there be some oversight?
Yeah, I think the oversight and accountability is near and dear to this governor. This report was actually a request through the administration. When we find things that are graft, corruption, of mismanagement, we're going to take them on, we're going to address them, we're going to clean things up. People want transparency in government, and they want to be able to trust their officials, and that's what this administration is about.
When you were in Brockton, you got into somewhat of a bit of a dust up there with your superintendent of schools there. Was that a good experience, though, an aggressive civil? I mean, working with that's a tough school system.
Look, I had the fortune to lead the fourth largest school system in the state, the highest achieving urban district in the state.
Yeah.
There's nothing but good people down in Brockton, and we did great work, and my track record stands on its own. Leadership is tough. You step on toes, you break eggs.
In education,
but guess what? We did great work, and I left on good terms, and that system is doing well.
Yeah. So as Secretary, right now, your focus is getting this budget thing passed.
Right now, my focus is working around the governor's proposal around investment in education, transportation, simultaneously with really understanding the coherence model of all three sectors, early childhood, K-12, and higher ed, and how we can really continue to implement upon the reforms that have been built over the last several years.
All right. Check back with me in 20 years, because, as I say, it just seems like we do a lot of spending with very few results.
But look
what happens.
But look at the results in the K-12 community. We get those same results in the other two. We're already leading the nation in K-12. We're going to continue to do that work.
All right. Thank you very much.
Believe in it. Invest in it.
I'm working on it.
You're with us. Come on.
All right, let me continue. The Higgins Armory Museum is packing up its army and moving across town.